There's a rumor that Elon Musk may step down as the CEO of Tesla. The rumor was started by the Wall Street Journal, and there's a question for Elon. Elon, please let Wall Street Journal know you are not stepping down from being the CEO of Tesla. These clowns belong in the circus. And Elon, he responds, obviously, bringing on Linda, who will be the new Twitter CEO, allows me to devote more time to Tesla, which is exactly what I will be doing. It was a very simple and very direct question, and Elon did not make it clear directly by saying that he will remain the CEO of Tesla. Instead, he said that he will be spending more time at Tesla, which to me, that's really all I want to hear. If Elon spends more time at Tesla, I think Tesla will be doing better. It does not matter really if Elon remains the CEO or not. As long as he spends more time at Tesla, I think Tesla will be doing better. But if Elon does step down, some investors maybe freak out and sell some Tesla stock, although there will be many also that I think will look at this and say, oh, Elon is no longer a CEO. Obviously, he will stay as perhaps the chief technology officer and help develop the products, but he will no longer make any super controversial decisions such as no advertising. Probably if you bring someone new, Tesla will start advertising, and many investors do like that idea, at least in the short term. If that happens, I think Tesla will start to look a little bit more like Apple, but as long as full self-driving is being worked on, and I think we need Elon for that really, I will remain very bullish on Tesla. And I'm not the only one that thinks that perhaps Elon is purposely not answering the question. Maybe he was just in a rush. He read the thing quickly and he just typed in whatever was on his mind. Maybe he wasn't thinking that much, or maybe he was intentionally not answering the question that directly. Either way, to me personally, as an investor, long term, that is good news because Elon will be spending more time. But I understand that some people definitely want Elon to stay specifically as the CEO of Tesla. Let's dig a little bit deeper into that rumor. There are rumors swirling that Tesla CFO Zach may be in line to take over as the CEO of Tesla. The Wall Street Journal reports that the Tesla board of directors has been considering him ever since a trial began last year that challenges Musk's compensation package as being beyond the bounds of reasonable judgment. During the trial, Tesla board member James Murdoch said that Musk had identified a potential successor in the months leading up to the trial, but did not specify who Musk had suggested. And this was a big thing that we talked about a lot. We really had no specific idea who that person is. Many people speculated, which I think really is the most popular opinion at this time, or was until now, that Tom Zhu would be the one to take over if Elon was to step down. But this article suggests that the CFO would be taking over, which I guess if you think of Tesla as a mature company, I think that makes sense. But if you think of Tesla as a growth company still, then I think someone like Tom Zhu would make more sense. But if Elon still stays very active inside of Tesla, then I think it's actually a better idea to have someone relatively conservative running the whole company, because Elon, you know, he will spice things up anyway. So having Zach being the CEO, maybe that wouldn't be a bad idea after all if Elon stays quite active still. But if Elon completely quit Tesla pretty much, then I'm not sure about Zach. I would much rather prefer someone who also would drive the product innovation very strongly. James is convinced that if Elon does step down, it would not be bad actually. If anything, the market, he thinks, would overreact, presenting a buying opportunity of the century. Gary also thinks that it's unlikely that the chief financial officer would become the next CEO of Tesla. He thinks Tom Zhu is the natural successor. Gary Black was just on TV to discuss all things Tesla. I mean, there's so much news. Let's dive in.
Is this really material? I mean, do we really believe he's got an amount of time spent on Twitter that can now go back to cars?
There are a few things that this is a great fit, and I know Linda Yaccarino well. I've spent a lot of time with her. She's the perfect candidate for the job because she's an ad exec. She can talk the language of ROI and brand safety with other advertisers, and it stops all this silly talk about Elon's going to bring a technician in to run Twitter. You need an ad exec to bring the advertisers back. That's good for Tesla because people worry that Elon's going to have to put more money into Twitter. So I like it for a few reasons. One, there are a lot of institutional PMs who aren't going to invest in a company where the CEO is split between one or more companies. And you can't look at SpaceX and Boring and Neuralink as, other interests because he built those from scratch. He put the management team in. Twitter's a total redo. It's a total reinvention. So it's a lot of work. And the fact that you're going to have somebody else who actually does the work, that's really important. The second thing is a lot of people, including myself, are looking at this as it signals that Twitter must be doing pretty well for Elon to step away. Because, he'd be more focused on it. He's very focused on it. But the fact that he's willing to let it be and let somebody else drive it is an important signal.
If you notice and you looked at the chart that was just on the screen, you realize that Tesla stock actually was up today. And then it said, no, we are going to extend the buying opportunity to all Tesla stock investors. Elon replied to this tweet. He says, I think people from both sides of a political spectrum will find Linda, the new Twitter CEO, to be smart, fair, and reasonable. Well, let's see how it's going. It appears to me that both sides actually are quite upset at Elon for appointing Linda as the CEO of Twitter. Here is why one side is upset. During her interview with you, Linda interviewed Elon earlier. She was most excited about your initiative to limit reach of tweets which are deemed hateful, freedom of speech, not freedom of reach. In fact, that was her main selling point to the advertising executives in the audience that she kept coming back to it. She went on to chastise you twice for tweeting after 3 a.m. because people are concerned about that sort of behavior. She also wanted advertising executives to be part of an influence council within Twitter. She's not here to improve a user experience. She wants Twitter to be a safe space. She represents advertisers, and her natural inclination is to limit speech and pander to those who push woke ideology on the world. You will have to watch her like a hawk. She was also thrilled to spend $100 million on social justice initiatives while at NBC and forwarded government authoritarian propaganda that the way back to a normal life was to wear your mask. No doubt she'll bring in advertising revenue in the short term, but she's a long-term mistake. But Elon says, calm down, basically. I hear your concerns, but don't judge too early. I am adamant about defending free speech, even if it means losing money. Another reason why this political side does not like her is because she is an executive chair at the World Economic Forum. But the other side also really doesn't like her because in 2018 she was stabbed by President Trump to serve a 2-year term on his Council of Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. I think for such an important role, Elon has thought about this deeply probably, and he has pretty good reasons for her being appointed as the CEO. And also remember, he can fire her at any time. Twitter is a privately owned company and Elon owns it.
And the third thing I think is important is Elon has talked about making Tesla as big as Apple, which is, $2.5 trillion. To do that, it can't just rely on the product alone. I think Linda, given her, she's outspoken, but she's deferential. She will be alone among the Elon lieutenants and being able to talk about the benefits of advertising. And I view advertising as kind of the next leg for Tesla. Tesla has to be able to convince people that EV adoption, should accelerate. They have to convince the non-EV users to go with EVs. And so when you're talking about operating costs being lower and how easy it is to charge instead of going to a gas station and that it's good for the planet, she's the perfect person to help Elon understand how advertising could be useful to somebody like Tesla.
I think after today, the chances of Tesla advertising went up by a little bit, certainly. Because if you have someone who is so pro-advertising by your side every day, I think he will be communicating with her pretty much every day. I think that will also influence Elon's views a little bit. It doesn't mean that Tesla will go and advertise tomorrow, but I think it does mean that Elon will be less against advertising going forward.
Gary, Elon has said, of course, that it was in the danger zone when he acquired Twitter, particularly given the interest costs that he has, and it's certainly out of that now, may even be profitable or certainly back to break even, to your point. But he also has indicated via the tweet, and that's all we have right now, that he's still going to maintain a number of different roles at the company. So, I'm just curious as to whether you really think he's going to pull back in a significant way, given he's still going to be, CTO, he's still going to oversee product, software, and, system operations.
They're a perfect match, though. Again, knowing Linda very well, she will bring the advertising marketing expertise that, quite frankly, Elon, he's a great marketer, but he doesn't have that ad experience. So she can bring that to the table. And you're right, Elon's never going to just walk away from Twitter. It's his baby, it's his love. But I think the two of them will complement each other very well. And it's really important as you think about 2024, you got the Olympics and you got the election coming. Those are huge events for advertisers. And this is a perfect time to be bringing somebody in to get the advertisers back on board Twitter. And she knows them. She knows the language. She understands ROI. She understands the whole concept of brand safety. And they will listen to her because she's very respected in the industry.
I am fairly convinced that because Elon just hired a CEO for Twitter, Twitter is no longer at risk of actually going bankrupt. If it's still losing money, it's probably not a significant amount, and chances are it's breaking even and maybe even is about to make some money. If we are speaking strictly just about business, bringing back advertisers, making more money for Twitter, this I think is probably a good move, although I will be looking into this deeper and I may change my mind, but on the surface so far it looks good, although politically there will be a lot of people really upset about this. But what I do like about this as well is a lot of the heat is going to move away from Elon to now Linda. She does seem like a pretty strong woman. When she was interviewing Elon Musk here just a few weeks ago, she seemed very confident, very calm, and she was speaking more to the audience instead of really talking to Elon. Of course, she was interviewing Elon, but she was able to juggle this balance of speaking to the audience and Elon at the same time. It was pretty impressive what she did there. I think she's going to be fairly independent. I don't think you can, at least on the surface, this is how it looks to me, I don't think you can really push someone like that around too much. If she thinks that something has to be done, I think she will insist on that very, 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 very much. Which is great if Elon wants to spend less time at Twitter, but if the policies that she would be implementing would not be aligned with what Elon Musk wants long term, that may not turn out to be great, but let's come back to this 6 months from now, a year from now, and then we can reevaluate. But to me, as a Tesla stock investor, I think this is pretty good news. And Elon clearly is still committed to free speech overall, I think. Elon asked us to give her a chance, so let's see how it goes, and then we can decide then. Maybe she'll be phenomenal, maybe not really. I think right now is a bit too early to really come to a strong conclusion yet. Don't bet against Elon's decisions. But just to clarify, I don't know much about her, so I may change my mind. For now, I'm just going to observe what is going to happen.
But so you're a Tesla shareholder, though, right? So how much is this worth for Tesla shareholders?
So there's two things going on with Tesla. One is this, that Elon's going to focus a lot more of his time on Tesla. And it's not that he doesn't focus on it, but institutional PMs like myself, like that a CEO spends 24/7, 100% of their time focused on the investment that they're putting their money in. And this brings us back closer to that. So I think that's a huge positive. Second, as I mentioned, I do think it helps think about how does Tesla grow from here. Model Y is going to be the best-selling car in the world this year, not EV. It's going to be the best-selling car in the world. How do you continue to get EV adoption to soar? Last year, EV adoption was 10%, which means 90% were not buying EVs. And so for Tesla to grow, as it launches the Cybertruck into the pickup segment, which is going to grow its TAM, as it brings out what we'll call a mass market car, we'll call it the $25,000 compact car, how do you get people to buy that and try EVs? There are so many people out there who can afford an EV, but they don't do it because they're afraid. They're afraid they're going to run out of battery power. And so you need some sort of education campaign for the non-EV users so that they're willing to buy an EV for the first time. And I think somebody like Linda Yaccarino, who again, she's outspoken, but she's very deferential. She can teach Elon's team at Tesla about advertising and the benefits of Tesla. You know, she's running Twitter, but let's face it, all of Elon's companies tend to all work with each other. And I think she's going to be a great value add to the executive team, Elon's executive team.
I think Gary has a fair point there. Linda's influence may transfer a little bit over to Tesla as well. The thing that I'm looking forward to right now is the shareholder meeting, which is happening very soon. And during that meeting, we may hear more about, is Elon stepping down as the CEO of Tesla and transitioning into more of a chief technology officer role, or is he still staying as the CEO? That's really the next big thing to watch, and this video explains why Tesla board members are not buying more Tesla stock. My name is Matt Post. Just like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.